And welcome again into the television version of Strategies for Living. I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. You know, at Strategies for Living, well, we talk about helping us all live healthier, happier, and more peaceful lives in our bodies, in our minds, in our spirits, in our relationships here in the 21st century. And we do that by engaging in important conversations with folks we like to call life strategists each and every time we do Strategies for Living. And we're going to hit all of them today: body, mind, spirit, and relationship with John and Christine Mauser. Welcome, guys.
Thank
now, you know, I like, John, you and I talked on the radio, I like to feature local authors, and boy, do you have a story to tell. The book is called 18 Plus, From Addiction to Addition, John Mauser, and we'll tell you how to get it, but I'm just excited about it. And started with a dream, right? You had a dream and you saw the cover. Mm-hmm. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I had this dream, and I seen the cover of that book, and I seen the number, and so, you know, obviously I'm just going to look and see if there's anything like that exists. And so, you know, I looked for it.
You wake up and go to Amazon, right?
Yeah, wake up.
That's what we do.
Yeah, that's the only way to do it. So I looked, and there was nothing that existed. So.
Well, it does now.
It does now.
Amazon.com
it sure does.
now, 18 Plus, John
Yes.
Mauser, and it's there and you can buy it.
Yes.
What a story. Now, you did struggle. The struggle was from an early age.
Yes.
Your folks, you talk about good Christian folks, but you had an uncle. You had we all have an Uncle Larry or so in our
Yes.
family. You
Yes.
had an uncle that
Yes.
kind of took you maybe down some paths that mom and dad would not have wanted at a pretty early age, right? 9
Yes.
years old.
Yes, very early.
Yeah. What happened?
Well, you know, he was the cool uncle, you know,
Yeah.
that wanted to just, you know, be my friend and be my buddy. And, you know, he helped me. He introduced me to some, you know, just cigarettes and just different stuff.
Big
you
help.
know. Yeah, big help.
Big help.
But, you know, at the time, it was cool to
Well,
me.
sure.
You know, it was cool.
It's cool
so
to
it
a
was
kid.
exciting.
Sure.
And so, you know, that was the bait. That was the hook. And, you know, from there on it goes.
You go to Huntington High School, and you struggle.
Sure.
Get involved in you know, the wrong crowd. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
Okay. And you ended up dropping out of high school.
Yes.
Dropping out of Huntington after your sophomore year.
Mm-hmm.
And then an aunt visits you and talks you into coming and living with her in Bossier here.
Yeah.
And you did finish high school, came over and finished at Parkway, right?
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about that, John.
Well, that was a major change. You know, I had to take this lifestyle that I had decided to live and kind of put it on pause for the most part, and then go and be responsible, which was really different. That was really hard. That was really different. But I was able to do it, you know. She was able to help me get through it and push through the areas that I was, you know, going through.
Got your high school diploma.
Yep, got the diploma. And
from reading your book, it just seems like, and forgive me for this, Christine, because it seems to me like trouble kind of followed you. Even when you had the second chance, you go and the first thing you do at Parkway is you get attracted to a young lady, not Christine. And this young lady happened to be the girlfriend of one of the big football players, right?
Absolutely.
And so that was dicey for a little while.
That was.
And yet, it's like trouble followed you. You and he become good friends, but it turns out, like Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story was that this guy wasn't exactly somebody you needed to be hanging around either, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, he was a very popular guy, and so he led me into all the parties.
Yeah.
You know, all the big parties, and just wherever we went, there we
So
were.
it seems like you were kind of whether
Oh, yeah.
you were over in Shreveport at Huntington or whether you were at Parkway, you were kind of a magnet for this stuff.
Yeah, wherever you are, there you are.
Is
Whatever
that
you're
part
into.
of the addiction
Yeah.
deal, John?
Yeah, because you're going to find people that are like-minded, do like things. You know, there's something about being at the wrong place, the wrong time with the wrong people, and then there's something about being at the right place, the right time with the right people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's either good or bad.
You've certainly learned the difference.
Yes, I have.
Now, how did you two meet? How did the two of you come to know each other?
Well, I actually started when I got out of jail, went to church, and I met her at church. But honestly, I didn't know how to treat a girl that was really involved in church. And I honestly was really intimidated, and so I just kind of watched for a while, and things began to unfold.
That's zooming ahead, so let's go back for a second because there's some incredible. This is not a long book, but I'm going to warn you, folks. It's a book that's hard to put down. The good news is you can probably read it in a sitting or two, and you'll probably want to reread it because even though it's short, there's a lot here. 18 plus, from addiction to addition, the true story of John Mauser, a former gang member, drug addict, and prisoner. Now, that prisoner thing, you were actually through high school, you were out working, doing pretty well financially, right? What kind of business were you in besides your side businesses?
Well, I was helping put fire alarms in casinos and hotels,
and you were busy. We have a lot of casinos and hotels around here.
Yes, we do. And so I was busy,
Making good money.
making good money.
Yeah.
But it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
But it's never enough. And so I chased other dreams.
Now you visited the Baptist Student Union Center, and you actually you kind of got a twang or a twinge, and someone over there reached out to you, invited you to come back that very evening that you were arrested and play a game of pool with him or with some guys, right?
Absolutely.
But you didn't go there.
I didn't go there.
Where'd you go?
Well, I went to the house because we had a little delivery to make, and it didn't go all that well.
It was several pounds of a substance that can be smoked.
Absolutely.
Yeah? So what happened?
Well, when I arrived, there were officers, unmarked officers all in the house, and there were all my friends on the floor.
Yeah, all your buddies
All my buddies.
on the floor. And you end up a guest of Sheriff Prater
That's right.
at
his hotel.
Caddo Correctional Institute.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yep. So tell me about that experience there, John.
That was that's the first time I ever stopped in life. That really rocked my invincible mindset.
Yeah.
And it was hard. It was really difficult to be still and not want to lose your mind in there. So, yeah.
Now you met some interesting people there, though.
Yes.
Again, it almost sounds like God slowed you down and then put some people in front of you. Your very first cellmate. I don't know if that's what they call them in CCC, but
Exactly.
your very first cellmate was instrumental in
Yes.
this whole process, wasn't he?
Yes. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about him.
Yeah, his name was Abraham, and he was as guilty as I was.
Now,
But,
Abraham wasn't going anyplace.
he wasn't moving. No,
Yeah,
he was
Abraham was. As a matter of fact, Abraham was waiting to move on
Yeah.
because he had been sentenced and he was going to be in for a long while.
There. Yeah, he's gonna be there. He's just passing through, and he shared some things with me that really challenged me for the rest of my life. And he
Like what?
he showed me. He said, "Man, you need to cry out to God," And I had honestly never really cried out to God. I'd had
You had
little.
been raised. You
Yeah.
had been raised in a Christian environment, but you had never really reached out
Yeah.
for any true help.
Right.
Why?
People had always taken care of things for me, and so I never needed God
Yeah.
until that day,
Until that very time.
because nobody could help me but Him. honestly, nobody would help me but him.
Now, interesting, there's a lot to this story. Where does the title come from? From addiction to 18 plus, from addiction to addition. Where does that title come from? Or was that downloaded in the dream, or what's the meaning of it for you?
What I did is when I was looking that up, I wasn't finding anything. It was just weird, and so I began to count when I first started to use drugs and alcohol. Anything from cigarettes to whatever it be, whatever addictive substance or anything that's you're addicted to, and I counted, and it was 18. And so I thought about that, and I said, well, the plus has got to be my new life that I have now.
From addiction to addition. So the addition is the new life?
Yes.
Now, there were some other folks that you met while you were a guest of Sheriff Prater. Tell us a little bit about some of them.
Well, I met several guys in there. I met a lot of guys that were doing some life sentences, and so that's different. That's kind of it's kind of nerve-wracking, obviously.
Yeah.
Because all they have to do is, they can help you get another charge and keep you there longer. But I met a lot of guys that were really desperate for help and needed somebody.
Did you ever think that you were forgotten? Because your case, and this may be part of the plus, your case kept being put off. Now, we need to let people know there are there's some colored bands, right?
Yes.
And so you had a red band, and that meant you were a prisoner of the parish.
Yes.
But there were also some green bands that would be put on, and you were scared to death that somebody was going to come slip one of those green bands on you. Why?
Yeah, well, kind of how it is. You start with the red band. Well, the federal, it goes to a federal charge when you get a green band.
Right.
And so.
And the amount of stuff that you had could have easily gotten you a green band.
Very
right?
easy.
Yeah.
That was the one thing we all talked about in there was if you get that green band, you have to do a minimum of this time.
Right.
And that wasn't okay with us.
Right. So maybe one of there are several. Do you call them miracles? Because they read like miracles in the book. Do you refer to what happened to you as miraculous, John?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. The first one I've seen was myself. The first miracle.
Yeah. Because you knew you. You were intimately acquainted with you, and for you to turn around something that had been going on 18 plus years was a miracle.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I think anyone will tell you who visits an institution like CCC, there's a big old word called recidivism. I like the way that sounds, recidivism. But what it means is, it's not a nice word, because what it means is people get out and they come back.
Absolutely.
And they come back. And they repeat. And so you've broken that. You've broken that recidivism, and you have told the story to us. In 18 plus, from addiction to addition, it's out from Highbridge Books. When we come back, we're going to tell you how to get it, and we're going to talk more to John Mauser. Christine, you've been quiet. We're gonna hear from you when we come back.
Okay.
Strategies for Living, the Mausers. John and Christine are our life strategists today. We'll be right back.
From the time I was born, I was in a theatrical family, and now I'm dean of the division and pretty much the director of the theater aspects.
I love that people come to theater to experience the pain and tragedy and joy of other people's lives. I think that's kind of a beautiful thing. It's a release.
The whole experience of being on stage, it's scary, but I think it's kind of worth it because you get this adrenaline rush, you get all these emotions that you don't get to feel every day.
I haven't found a similar experience quite like it yet. It comes to a point where everything around me is real.
The theater is the one art form that encompasses all art forms. It's not about the final product other than the experience that happens when it happens.
As a student, you learn like every aspect of theater. You know, you learn costuming, you learn lighting, you know, you're building sets every day, and you're in makeup class, and you also, you know, take directing and acting. I mean, you do it all.
The hardest thing for some students to grasp is the language that they're dealing with, and you have to help them along. So when I find a student who has a lot of talent but needs some encouragement in other areas, that's the ones I really enjoy working with the most, I think.
Well, the faculty and staff at Bossier Parish Community College is absolutely fantastic. They wish they could keep you forever, and they love you and all that, but they want you to spread your wings and fly, and they are seriously preparing you for that.
We're looking to increase our audience development, which will bring in more people to see how wonderful our students are and how many opportunities that we can give them. Also giving the experience to the students that they need so they can get out of here with their degree and get a job.
Parents can use everyday activities, conversation, and literature to help youngsters learn to read and write. The experts at the U.S. Department of Education offer this advice. You can teach even a very young child to recognize the letters of the alphabet by reading alphabet books. Write your children's names on the doors of their bedrooms or on the refrigerator so they can look at them often. Have your child pick out the letters in books, signs, and other printed materials. Beginning with lines and shapes, encourage your children to draw. To practice handwriting, have them copy letters, words, and sentences. Clearly label everyday items. Teach your kids the word, then practice writing the word. Read stories to your child, then have the child read the stories back to you. While reading, ask the child questions such as, "What happens next?" or "What would you do?" Let your children tell you stories and write down what they say. Play word games to increase vocabulary and the desire to write. Learn more online at ed.gov.
And welcome back into the television version of Strategies for Living. Well, thank you for watching Strategies for Living. Do you know you can also listen to Strategies for Living? We started as a radio program 20 plus years ago on News Radio 710 Keel, and we're still there every Sunday morning, 9:05 to 10. You can join us there. We're also at strategiesforliving.com, and we always have life strategists to tell a story. What a story this is. Through John Mauser's story, he teaches how a person can exchange a life of anger, rejection, and bondage for a new life of love, acceptance, and victory. If you or someone you know is experiencing any form of addiction, or you have somebody in your family who is, this is the story you need to get. 18 plus, from addiction to addition. And you can find it at highbridgebooks.com. You can get it on amazon.com. And folks, it is going to be in stores December the 1st, right?
Yes.
Right.
So we can look for it there. And that's the official publication date, but you can get it now by going online, highbridgebooks.com or amazon.com. Now, Christine, you figure into this story in a big, big way.
Yes.
Yeah. What were your thoughts when you first met John after all of this had happened, and you had some miracles go on? You appeared before the judge, and you began to tell the judge about what you had found in jail, and the judge kind of quickly told you, well, that happens to everybody. Everybody finds Jesus or religion at Steve Prater's place.
Yeah, that's what I told him. And that's exactly what he said back.
Yeah. But another miracle. What happened?
Well, that day, actually I went home that day, and
That was a miracle.
That
you
was a
didn't think you were
miracle.
going home. You had told your mom, that probably not going to see me.
Yeah, I said I'll probably be here for a little while.
Yeah.
And I knew I was, just because of the amount and the charges that we had.
Yeah.
But that day I went home, It was so real to me. It was so real. I had never really thought that day was going to come. I thought I was going to have to stay there.
Yeah. Miracle after miracle after miracle. Okay, so then you meet this young lady. What did you think when you saw him from, where were you guys at church? What kind of church function were you at?
Well, we officially met at Shreveport Community Church. It's a church that we currently still attend, and we also attended a life group. It's kind of like a home meeting. It's a little bit more in depth than a Bible study. It's more of like discipleship, and we were involved in that for probably almost 4 years. So we knew each other for about 4 years before he ever really became a prospect for dating. So, but that's where we met, and I really got to just kind of find out what type of an individual he is. You know, he came across as this silly, goofy, loving kind of a guy, but when it came down to reality and the things of life, he really was serious and very mindful of others. So it was a great place to really get to know what type of person he was.
Do you remember seeing Christine for the first time and what you thought?
I did. Honestly, she was so quiet, and I can read people really good, and I pick up, but she was really quiet, so I could never read her, and so that intimidated me. But she was so beautiful, so I was just like, I didn't know what to say to her, so I just watched her.
You just watched.
Yeah.
And the miracle unfold. You guys have now been married for
A year and 5 months.
Wow! Congratulations,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
All right, so but the miracles don't end there.
No.
My goodness, you are now you guys are successful business folks. You own Quality Paint and Body
Yes, sir.
Shop. But again, that has a pretty miraculous story to it too, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Well, a friend of mine, I helped his son. He was in a rehab, and I helped his son. I was honestly just his friend. I just helped him when he was going through tough times.
Yeah, and he went through a real tough time. As a matter of fact,
Yeah,
he lost his battle.
he did. Yeah, he did.
He wasn't using or
Right.
drinking, but he had. It is a deadly disease.
It is.
It's a deadly disease, and unfortunately, some people do more damage before they stop
Yep, absolutely.
than can be repaired. Your
Yeah.
friend, I think, must have fallen into that category.
Yeah, he had gotten sick, and it was so tough on his body, and he had damaged his body for so many years. It just couldn't hold up.
Yeah.
But his daddy helped me build my shop. Paid for it.
Put you in business.
Yeah, put me in business. Debt
Now
free.
you were you had developed a talent. You had worked for the Moffats, you had worked for the Toyota dealership, so you had already developed a real talent for fixing a little damage that some of us do
Yes.
when things go bump in the night here and there, as all of us have a problem here and there with that. But this was not something, maybe it was a dream, but it was not something that you expected to be put into business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a miracle.
Wow. There's a lot of miracles here. This story is just incredible, folks. And we've just barely skimmed the surface of it today with John and Christine Mauser. So what I'm going to invite you to do is I'm going to invite you to jump into their website, and that is...
Well, we're in the process of getting the website built right now, but John has his author Facebook page, so you can just search him on Facebook and
it'll
get
come
connected to get connected to us that way.
But get the book. Get the book, and remember, the book started with a dream. And, there were some, if you read the Bible, there's a few other folks in there that stuff started with a dream. So that's all I'll say. Get 18 plus, from addiction to addition. John Mauser, what a story, guys. What a story. Thanks for sharing it with us. Thanks for coming to Strategies for Living and being our life strategist today.
Yes. Thanks for having us.
Folks, thank you for tuning in to Strategies for Living. Don't forget, find us on the radio, News Radio 710 Keel, Sunday mornings between 9:05 and 10, and also at www.strategiesforliving.com, and Fridays, every Friday, in the Lagniappe section in the Shreveport Times. For John and for Christine Mauser, I'm marriage and family therapist David McMillan. We'll see you next time here on Strategies for Living.